Every time I start one of these videos, like, I never know how to, but by now I've made it. I've told my story. The past 9 months I've been in an extremely abusive relationship. I just posted a 3-hour-long YouTube video going into detail with the first half of the story. But I want to kind of come on here and I hate doing this. I want to talk about some of the really important dates that were in my video for the people that haven't watched the YouTube video or don't have YouTube or only on TikTok, but I'm gonna try to do this on here. August 7th is the first time that things got physical, not with me yet, but the first time that he had showed that he could get physical. So August 7th, 2024, I don't know exactly if we had went out. I don't know, like, if we were about to go out. I don't exactly remember those details, but I know that we had both drinking that day. But he was far, far, far more intoxicated than I was. And we just started arguing, and it was like 10 p.m. at this point, and we're just arguing and fighting over anything. And at this point in our relationship, we had been talking for like 3 months, dating for 3 months, whatever you want to call it. And verbal abuse was, I mean, like, that was a normal thing in our relationship at this point. I was called a bitch more than I ever heard my name. I don't want to cry. But I heard bitch more than I heard Kayla, at this point in our relationship. So, he's just, doing the usual, you bitch, you slut, you cunt, you whore, loose pussy, just like all of that stuff. And he's just like yelling at me about whatever, just calling me a whore. That was his go-to. He always thought that I was lying about my body count or cheating on him. And I can, hand to God, because honestly, if I did cheat on him, I wouldn't give a fuck about saying it, because after all the shit that I was put through. But hand to God, I was so loyal. I never cheated. I never cheated on him. I never texted another guy. Nothing. But in his mind, he was just so convinced. So he was just yelling about that. And he ends up grabbing his car keys and starts heading downstairs. And even though he was calling me all of these names, I obviously still care about him. So I'm like, where the fuck are you going? Like, you're not driving. So I run down the stairs after him, and he gets in his car, and I get in the passenger seat of the car. I have the door open, and my legs are on the ground, and I'm like, you're not leaving. And he can't pull his car out because I'm like half in, half out of his car on the passenger side. And I just have the door open, and I'm just like, you're not going. And I'm just like making it so that he can't drive off, because in my mind, he's drunk. He's either going to get a DUI and go to jail, or 2, he's going to crash and like, I'm just screaming and crying, please don't go, like, you're gonna hurt yourself, you're gonna go to jail, blah, blah, blah. And he's just screaming at the top of his lungs at me, saying, I'm fucking going, fuck you. And I'm just sitting there, like, on the pavement, like, half in his car, half out his car, trying to get him not to drive off. And that's when he balls his fists up and looks at me. And I remember looking at him, and it was like, it didn't look like him. It looked like a demon. Like, it sounds so dumb, but like his eyes were just like blank. And he balls up his fist, and he looks at me, and like it looks like he's about to punch me in the face, but like last second he moves his arm and punches his windshield of his car so hard that the rear view mirror falls off. The entire thing shatters, like the whole thing shatters. And it's because he last second decided not to punch me in the face, but to punch his windshield. So at that point, I like literally collapse on the floor outside, and I just start sobbing, because I've never been that close to being hit before. And I think a part of me in my mind was like, damn, is he really capable of that? And fun fact, 2 days after this was his first time getting physical with me. So yeah, he was capable. But yeah, last second he just turned his arm and punched the fuck out of his windshield of his car. I don't know exactly what happened after that. I don't know if he did end up driving. I don't know if I stayed outside. I can't remember the details of where I went after that. But this was the next night. I'm pretty sure this was like August 8th. He decided that we should use the broken windshield as clickbait for his Snapchat. So we taped, you could see the Gorilla Tape right there. We Gorilla Taped a golf ball on there, and we grabbed one of his golf clubs and took this picture. This was the day after. You could literally see how puffy my eyes are from like crying the night before. And this was his idea. Because we couldn't tell anybody that, you know, his windshield shattered because he almost punched me in the face. So we did this. But yeah, as you can see, it's completely shattered, and yep, it was one punch. This was the last time he ever didn't put hands on me when he wanted to. August 9th. Oh my God, this sucks. Shit. August 9th, 2024 is the first time that he had gotten physical with me. Like I said, the full story, I still have a second part that is posting. Surprisingly, part 1 was not the worst of it. That was not when he tried to kill me yet, but everything's in detail there. And all the proof and videos that I don't think I can include on here are in the last 10 minutes of my YouTube video. All videos, all proof, everything, in case you think I'm lying or even just want to see the extent to what I'm saying. But anyways, August 9th was the first time that he had ever gotten physical with me. Basically, we had went out that night and he had gotten really drunk. We get in the Uber and he looks at me, calls me a slut, and slaps me in the face. I end up jumping out of the Uber because I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And I end up calling after like 30 minutes a new Uber back home because I was just like so confused on what just happened. Like he literally, like we were in the Uber, he calls me a slut and slaps me in the face. So I end up getting back home maybe like an hour after him. When I walk back in to his room, he's leaned over the toilet, like throwing up. And I talked about this in the YouTube video. But when I walked in that room, he looked up at me. Like, I feel like I don't even have tears left to fucking cry, but like my body wants to cry. He looks up at me with the most soulless eyes I've ever seen. Like, they look like black holes. And I will never fucking forget that look. And he basically just starts cussing me out, saying that I'm a slut as usual. Same shit that he had been doing for the past 3 months, but this time it's like really aggressive, like really, really aggressive, kind of like what had happened 2 days before when he was in his car. So things just start heating up and he's yelling at me and I'm just like, I don't understand like why you're mad at me. You slapped me in the face and called me a slut, and I'm arguing with him about what had happened. Things heat up and he ends up punching me in the face, for real this time. So hard to the point where my teeth leave indents in the bottom of my lip. I could try to insert a photo. I don't know if it'll let me, but it's all on YouTube. And then he just starts punching me as hard as he can in my arm, my leg, my hand, everywhere that he could. And then he turns around and he shatters my vanity that was in his room, and glass goes everywhere, all over my makeup. Here's a picture of my vanity, a screenshot from a video that I had taken, shattered it. Here's some of my lip. I don't, the full thing's on YouTube. So yeah, and walked back into the bathroom and he's at the sink washing blood off of his hand because he had cut it from breaking my vanity. And that's when I start recording. And I actually didn't know that I had this video until I filmed the YouTube video a couple months back. And I still can't watch it all the way through. I uploaded it into the YouTube video without fully watching it because it's really bad. And you can just hear him, up against the wall. That video is also on YouTube at the end. I can't watch it. My mom and my sister watched it for the first time today, and I just can't watch it. And then after that, I just collapsed on the floor in fetal position, and he walked downstairs, slept on the couch, and I slept on his bed. And the next day, acted like everything was okay because I was scared. That was August 9th. So sometime in between August 9th and I'm pretty sure August 29th, I'm pretty sure this is when this event happened. I don't have the exact date for this event, but I want to share it. So this was like after he had gotten physical with me the first time, and once again, full stories on YouTube. But basically, I had offered to wash my boyfriend's car while he was at work. I just went up to him and I was like, hey, you know what? While you're at work, your car's really dirty. How about I take it, wash it? Like, I like to wash cars, and then I'll bring it back to you. And by the time you're off work, you have like a clean car. Not crazy. Not crazy at all. Now, I don't think I could ever ask that question to somebody. But that for some reason flipped a switch in him, and he starts screaming at me saying that I want to take his car on a car wash to go his friends, and I want to do it to go cheat on him, and like, why would I want to wash his car? And he's just screaming at me. So I'm sitting there crying and just confused because I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, I offered to wash your car. Like, what is crazy about that? So he looks at me and he's like, no, if you want to wash my car, you're gonna do it with me right now. We're gonna do it right now. So he ends up pulling into this car wash in his hometown, and he's sitting there screaming at me saying, I'm gonna wash his car now. Like, I'm washing it now. I'm not washing it without him. If I want to do it so bad, I'll do it right now. And he ends up, I had a video of this, but I haven't told this story yet. It's going to be in part 2. This was in around November, down the road. He ended up finding out that I had a lot of videos of his abuse on my phone. So he got a hold of a lot of them and deleted some of them, this being one of them. But he grabbed my hair like this and just slammed my head up against the windshield, or like the passenger window of his car. And he looked at me and he said, get out of my car and clean it. So then he made me get out of his car, get on my hands and knees, and vacuum his car until it was up to his standards. The whole time he was just like, nope, keep going. Like, I know you wanted to do this to F my friend. You like washing cars so bad, whatever. And then he ended up like meeting up with one of his friends and just like laughing about it, calling me a whore and stuff like that. And I don't know, that one wasn't like that bad compared to everything else, but it was one of the most dehumanizing things he did, like have me get on my hands and knees and clean his car. Because I don't know. That one will stick with me forever. Like, I don't know, there's something about that will never leave my mind. And here's a picture from that day. As you can see, this side of my face by the window is just really red. I've cried over this story so many times, that's why I'm saying it very monotone. But I don't know, that's one that'll stick with me forever. So I'm not sure what date that was, but August 29th, 2024 was one of the worst times that he had gotten physical with me. So basically, he had put his hands on me, I'm pretty sure 2 times at this point before, and was very, very verbally abusive, and I didn't find this out open my eyes to it until like the end of the relationship, but was using me for money and was trying to get a job off of me so that he could start social media and make money, and was using me for everything at this point. And I have voice memos of all of that I have not shared yet, but yeah. But we had ended up going to Hawaii for like a little content trip. So it was just the 2 of us. It was like the 4th day there. And there's a lot more to this story that's on YouTube that I just can't get into. But this day he had been very aggressive with me, throwing my phone on the ground, making a scene in public, just like very, 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 very bad. All because he saw that there was a guy in my searches. Like, there was a guy in my search history on Snapchat, so he was just like crashing out about it. So we end up getting to my Airbnb that I had booked for that night, and immediately we just start fighting. We're screaming at each other. He's calling me every name in the book. He's saying we're done, we're broken up with, like, he's gonna leave me in Hawaii, he doesn't care, he's gonna go back to Nashville and F his ex. And I'm just sitting there like sobbing, like, don't go, because this is what a lot of people don't understand. When you're in a relationship like this, it's literally like leaving. I don't even want to, like, I'll do a whole separate video on it, but I was just freaking out and crying, and I'm not sure exactly how, but we ended up at the front door, and he punches my head as hard as he can into the front door, to the point where my ear turns black and I have like a giant bump on my head, and I just slide down the door into like fetal position, and like I genuinely like was so close to getting blacked out. I remember like things were like fuzzy for a second, I couldn't see. So I'm just laying on the floor in fetal position, like eyes rolling in the back of my head from how hard I had been slammed up against the door of my head. And at this point he starts kicking me as hard as he can and just punching me, kicking me, and punching me as hard as he can while I'm in fetal position. And then he spits on me and walks away. The whole time he's doing this, he's just screaming at me, "Did you learn your lesson, bitch? Did you learn your lesson, bitch? Did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson?" And I'm just sitting there sobbing as loud as I can. And so he ends up walking, like I said, he spits on me and walks away. And so then I get up and I'm like, what the fuck did you just do? Like, what the fuck did you just do? I'm like, I'm in so much pain at this point. I'm like, what did you do? And so he ends up pushing me on the ground again. And he tries to drag my leg. So I hold on to the cabinet in the Airbnb, and he pulls me so hard that I rip the cabinet off of the hinges. I don't know why he was trying to pull me into the hallway. I don't, but he ripped me so hard that the handle got off the hinges. The whole time just screaming, "Did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson? Did you learn your lesson?" At that point, he starts punching me again. I'm just screaming for him to stop, and he's just, saying the same thing, calling me all the names, and then he walks away. The next morning, every time I see, like, every time I see this video, every time I would see this video, I would just, God. The next morning, before he even apologizes to me, he brings me into the kitchen and he says, "We have to film this." Sets his phone up on the counter and makes a TikTok with me. And we redo it 5 times because he said I wasn't looking happy enough. Then the next day, August 30th, the same day he had me film that TikTok, we end up getting another Airbnb and does it all over again. I'm in fetal position at the new Airbnb that we had got for the night. And he's just kicking me, punching me as hard as he can, pulling my hair, all of that. I really want to, it's hard for me to go into detail again, since the video, like everything, all the details that are really important are on the YouTube video. Please watch the YouTube video. I'm simply doing this because I know a lot of people only use TikTok. But please go on the YouTube video. There's also proof of all of this, videos of all of this on my YouTube. He does not love you. I'm just trying to get this out there here as well. But that was August 29th and August 30th, our first Hawaii trip. So yeah. Here's a picture of my ear, as you can see. And this was right after it had happened, and eventually like my whole ear just like turned a dark blue, purple, black color. This was my arm after that too, from him kicking and punching me. And you could kind of see right there my head. I can't include the close-up, it's on YouTube, but yeah, there's my head. And then this is the next day, August 30th. As you can see, my lip, face, he had just, yeah, was my first time in Hawaii. September 5th, 2024, is, in my opinion, one of the first times he tried to, unalive me. In his opinion, to this day, it was an accident. So, basically, we had flown to New York. I had a photo shoot in New Jersey that weekend, and I wanted to celebrate it by taking a train down to New York. So we go to New York, and this night we end up going down to Times Square. I end up meeting a group of girls down there, and me and my boyfriend at the time are hanging out with them, and we're all just having a really good time. We're drinking. We're just, like, celebrating life, basically. I don't know what happened. I quickly learned this was a common thing with narcissists, that when the center of attention is not on them, which it was not on him because we were celebrating me, they create problems to then create solutions so that the attention is on them. So this is one of the nights that he did that, and he just ignored me, and he was not talking to me. Like, after Times Square, like, we were walking through, like, the city and going on subways, and he was ignoring me the entire time. He would not say a word to me. We're walking through the city and waiting for subways for, I'm gonna say, like, an hour, and he will not say a word to me. At this point, I'm just, like, pissed off. And I'm like, why are you mad at me? Why are you ignoring me? Like, you're out in New York for free celebrating me. Like, why are you mad? I'm kind of just, like, calling him out for his shit, which I hadn't really done before, but because I was intoxicated, I had the balls to do so. We're on the subway, we're waiting for the subway, and I'm just, calling him out. So eventually we get off the subway, and we're walking to my hotel. We're maybe, like, a block away. And he says his first words to me. He looks at me, and he goes, "Slut, you're a slut." So I, pissed off as one is, I don't regret doing this anymore. At the time, I felt bad. But I look at him and I slap him in the face. Because you're telling me you've just ignored me all day for the past 2 hours or hour, however long it was. You're sitting there ignoring me, not saying a word to me. Like, yeah, we went to Five Guys, like, in the middle of this, and he was ignoring me, didn't say a word to me. And then the first thing you say to me when we're a block away from the hotel is, "You're a slut." I slap him in the face, and I start walking towards the hotel alone. That's when I hear him coming up behind me. And he ends up shoving me as hard as he can down the New York subway station. If you don't know what these are, it's basically a hole in the ground, a concrete hole in the ground, just concrete stairs. And he shoves me as hard as he can down the subway, and he pushed me so hard my body flew over half of the steps and just landed directly on the concrete stairs, and my body just slid down. And I remember laying on the concrete, and I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't move my legs, and I thought I was paralyzed. And so I'm, like, laying at the bottom of these stairs, just screaming. And I look up, and he's just standing at the top of the subway staring at me. Not a thing of regret in his eyes, not any emotion, nothing. He's just staring at me, and I'm just screaming, crying. And at this point, I just start to feel the most intense pain ever, like, shoot through my spine, and I still can't move my legs, and I'm convinced I'm, like, fucking paralyzed. He doesn't come down to help me. He doesn't. All of a sudden, a girl runs down, and she's like, "I saw what happened," and she starts yelling at my boyfriend, saying, "Get the F away from her, I'm calling the police, I saw what happened." And at that point, he looked at me and took off, without even making sure I was okay. I was sitting there screaming that I thought I was paralyzed, and he ran away. And so this girl ended up helping me and walked me back to my hotel. And yep, that was New York. This is a really bad picture, but you can see, like, the scrapes and the bruise. It ended up turning into, like, a huge bruise on my back. I wasn't able to walk for, like, 3 days. Then the girl, as you can see, took this picture in the subway right after it happened. There's a scrape on my arm. And then she also took this picture, which was basically just, like, more cuts on my arm from falling down the subway. I don't know where this girl is today, but I could cry about it. I'm really tired of crying, but probably one of the reasons that he didn't go down there and keep going. So, thank you. October 24th, 2024, was the closest he's ever been to me. And this one is really hard for me to talk about. This one's not in the YouTube video yet. It's going to be in part 2, but this one's really hard for me because the only reason that I'm still here today is because of my roommate Emma, and because she was home. And if she wasn't home, I wouldn't be here. Okay, I really hate this story. So basically, October 24th, it was one of my friend's birthdays, and me, Emma, my roommate, Brennan, my best friend, and my boyfriend had all went out to this birthday party at this club. And for breakfast, Brennan is a gay man, and my boyfriend at the time was so convinced that he was not gay and that me and him were hooking up the whole time, and I was cheating on him with Brennan, and it was like this whole situation. And Brennan actually just posted a video talking about this exact situation. It's in my repost. He has all the details on there. But we all end up going to this birthday party, and all of my friends are there, and I just want him to meet my friends. But mind you, the situation with him thinking that I was hooking up with Brennan had been going on for like the past month. So we get to the club, and everything's fine, but immediately I could tell that he is very agitated because I'm not giving him my full attention, and I'm talking to friends, and I could just tell he's very agitated. So at one point at the night, I don't remember exactly like what I was saying, what I was trying to do. I was trying to tell Brennan something, but it was really loud. And what do you do when it's really loud somewhere and you're trying to like tell somebody something? You like whisper in their ear. So I grab his face and I like go up to his ear. So I like grab his face like this and I like go to talk in his ear. And my boyfriend ends up seeing this and freaks out. And he's like, why were you touching his face like that? Like, I knew you wanted to F him. I knew you wanted to F him. And starts screaming at both of us in the middle of this club saying that I wanted to F Brennan and that me touching his face was proof. And I'm sitting there confused because I'm like, I don't even know how I touched his face. Like, I went to tell him, like what? So, at this point, he's just screaming that I want to F Brennan. He's known it all along, that Brennan's not actually gay. And he looks at me and he's like, if you don't twerk on Brennan right now, like, I'm going to beat his ass. So he forces me to start twerking on Brennan. I don't know what point he was trying to prove there. So I'm just, like, doing whatever he says so that he doesn't fight Brennan at this birthday party with all of my friends there. And, like, this was also one of the first times he had done something like this in public. So he ends up getting us into the back room of this club. He's yelling at us, screaming at us, saying that, like, he's not gay and that I want to F him and that we're effing and, like, it's a whole thing. And then he ends up slamming both of us into some chairs back there, and then somebody walks in and sees. But he essentially, like, puts his hands on both of us in the back of this club. Brennan's videos isn't my repost with all the details. So after that, I go to the bar and I immediately just start taking shots. An hour or two later, I end up going back home. And I did not know Emma was home at this time. And I forever thank the universe that she was. So I get back home from the club. So we get home from the club, and my boyfriend's just still on this whole rant about how I want to F Brennan, how I want Brennan, how he's not, just this whole thing. He's just sitting out here screaming me, calling me all these names, you know, just the same old, same old. So I'm arguing back with him, and I'm like, are you crazy? Like, what are you talking about? He's one of my best friends. He doesn't even like women. I'm dating you. Like, what are you talking about? And so he ends up just, like, keeps going and going, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. It's like 3, 4 in the morning at this point. So, I end up laying in my bed and putting my blanket over me, hoping that he would just walk away and think that I'm about to go to bed. So I'm just laying there, and he ends up getting on top of me, and he's like, huh? He's like, you think you can ignore me? You think you can ignore me? Listen, like, just going on and on, screaming at me, to the point where, he eventually ends up, he starts to strangle me. To the point where I can't breathe. He has both hands around my neck. And he's just on top of me. And he's choking me to the point where I can't breathe. And my eyes, I'm losing vision. I can't breathe. I keep trying to breathe and I can't breathe. And I'm kicking my arms and my legs and he won't get off of me. The whole time he's doing this, he's looking me directly in my eyes. And I'm just like whimpering out. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And he just won't get off of me. He's putting his entire body weight on my neck to where I can't breathe. My face starts turning. And at this point, I really thought he was gonna kill me. He wouldn't stop. So he won't get off of me. And I'm still thinking that we're the only people home. And so with the last hit of breath that I had before I blacked out, I could feel myself start to black out, and I've never felt that before. I just scream help as loud as I can. And at that point, my roommate Emma heard. And she ran in, and he got off of me immediately. And then he went and he slept on the couch. The only reason he didn't is because Emma walked in. And I know if she didn't walk in, he would have stopped. I hate that one. I hate that one. Here's my neck after that. November 17th, 2024. I have not talked about this one yet on the YouTube video. This is going to be in part 2. This was one of the most traumatic days of my life. I'm going to do a full detail in part 2. So I'm just going to try to speed through it right now. I haven't talked about this one yet. The videos from this night were in part 1, so this is what happened that night. Basically, once again, got invited to a birthday party. And it was this, like, house party. It was supposed to be really chill, like, just, like, a house party, you know? So me, Emma, and my boyfriend, we get to the house, and 5 minutes in, I can't find him. I don't know where he's at. And at this point, I'm like, thank God, because he has been known for crashing out on me at parties. So I'm just like, whatever, I'm gonna have a good time with Emma, have a little girls' time, see my friends, whatever. So I'm at the downstairs of this party outside with Emma. And 30 minutes pass, and I'm like, where is my boyfriend? Like, I haven't seen him in a minute. I start calling him. He's not answering. So I go inside, and I end up seeing him with, like, an entire bottle in his hand, and he's, like, downing it. So I'm pretty sure I end up, like, taking him to the balcony or something, and he just starts, like, projectile vomiting, like, off the balcony. So I'm like, okay, we need to go outside. So I start walking up the stairs. He projectile vomits all over the house stairs, and the bouncers at this house party end up being like, he has to go, like, he's too messed up. So I bring him outside, and I lay him on the, like, little gravel thing by a tree. Emma meets me out there, and, like, 2 of our other friends meet us out there, and he's just, like, throwing up all over the concrete, all over himself, all over everywhere. And where I get really concerned, and I go to call 911. One of the bouncers is like, no, we have a medic here. They bring the medic over. The medic says he's fine. He's just really intoxicated and he needs to go home. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, we just got here like an hour ago, but I'm gonna go home with you. Like, you drank too much. So we end up getting in the Uber, and we're like trying to get down this neighborhood. There's traffic, and it's like in the hills. It's like 20 minutes just to get out of the neighborhood. And during this time, he's just like freaking out, and he's like opening the door and throwing up and just like acting like something was wrong. So 15 minutes into the drive, we're like basically down the neighborhood. We had just turned on to a main road, and he looks at me and he says he can't breathe. So the Uber pulls over, and I'll go into detail with what happened on YouTube. I don't think I could explain it on here, but basically I was giving him CPR on the side of the road until the ambulance is pulled up. So the ambulance pulls up, and they take him to the hospital, and I'm sitting there for like an hour freaking out. I'm on the phone with his parents. I'm on the phone with my mom. Like, I just don't know what's happening. Like, I'll get into more detail on YouTube, but I was very traumatized. I was shaking. But an hour later, he comes out of the hospital being like, hey, like, let's go home, like acting like everything's fine. And I'm like, dude, I just had to give you CPR on the side of the road because you stopped breathing. Like, what do you mean? Like, we're good to go. And he tells me that they like pumped his stomach or something, and turns out that he had just drank too much and he had alcohol poisoning. But I did not find that out until recently. He had told me that somebody roofied him, which never happened. So I end up taking him back home, and I get him into my bed, and I'm taking care of him. I'm giving him food, water. I like DoorDash us Taco Bell or whatever. And I'm just like trying to make sure he's okay because I was extremely traumatized. And I'm sitting there just like crying to him. And I'm like, the stuff that I saw tonight, like, I don't know. I think I'm going to need a few days to just like stay in bed. Like, I'm really traumatized right now. Like, I just had to give you CPR on the side of Ventura. Like, so we're just laying there talking. I'm taking care of him. And all of a sudden he looks at me and he goes, "Do you think I need to stop drinking?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think you do." And he's like, "Okay, well then you need to stop drinking." And I was like, "I don't have a drinking problem. I'm sober. I was sober all night." And for some reason, switch went off in his brain. And he just starts calling me a whore, every name in the book, and just starts going off on me saying, "Oh, so you think you're so perfect, you don't have a drinking problem," and just like screaming at me. And mind you, at this point he was sober. He just starts saying a lot of disrespectful things to me. So I get up and I look at him and I'm like, "Dude, I just like saved your life tonight and you're gonna sit here and like call me all of these names and degrade me? Like, I did nothing but save your life tonight." So I'm just like, I'm not going to take the disrespect. I'm going to sleep on the couch. You can have my bedroom. It's whatever. So I go and I lay on the couch in my living room. And I'm laying on my couch. And all of a sudden I hear my bedroom door fly open. And he walks out. He just starts screaming at me, and he's like, "Get in the bed now, get in the effing bed now, get in the effing bed now. You think you get to sleep without me? You don't get to sleep without me, you only sleep with me." So I look at him and I'm like, "Dude, you were just calling me names, you're being aggressive right now. Like, I'm not sleeping in the bed with you, I'm sleeping on the couch." So he starts getting closer and closer, and he's like, "No, you're not sleeping on the couch." He tries to grab me off of the couch, and I push him off, and I'm like, "No, I'm not sleeping in the bed with you." So at this point, he starts calling me names again, and he gets on top of me on the couch, and he starts punching me as hard as he can. He had obviously put hands on me before, like, as you know, but this time was different. Whenever he would put hands on me, I could tell when he was gonna stop. I could sense when he was gonna stop, but this time, he wasn't stopping. So he just keeps landing blow after blow as hard as he can. My arms, my legs, my face, everywhere. He's hitting me as hard as he can, and he's not stopping, and he's just on top of me, like. And so I'm screaming as loud as I can at the top of my lungs, and I don't know what to do. I thought I was home alone once again, and he's not stopping, and I'm screaming, please stop, and he's not stopping, and he was looking me in the eyes as he was doing it. So he's just... I know he wouldn't have stopped. I know for a fact he wouldn't have stopped. I know he would not have stopped until I wasn't breathing that night. So then suddenly, Emma, hears my screams, comes out to the living room and sees him on top of me and just starts screaming at him. So he starts screaming at her and then walks into the bedroom and slams the door. So then that's when these videos... I don't think I can play them. I'm going to post them tomorrow on here. I don't think I can add them into this video because it's already so long, but they're on YouTube. They are the ones from November 17th of him screaming at me, calling me a lot of names. And so at the end of those videos of him saying all that stuff to me that I mean nothing to him, after he just fuck out of me, you can see how red it was bad. So I end up getting into Emma's room and I close the door and I'm just sitting there shaking and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then he suddenly comes up to Emma's room and is like, let me in. And we're like, no, you're dangerous. Like, what are you trying to do? He ends up beating down the door. Here are the 2 punch marks. There's a video of the door on YouTube. Then here's a lock that he completely broke off by banging it down. So he gets into the room and he just starts screaming at me and Emma, and I'm just like backed up to the corner of our room, and he's just screaming, calling us every name he could think of, basically. Every name that he was calling me in the video, he was basically just saying that again. And then he grabs Emma's vape, slams the door, and walks out. Me and Emma both went to bed that night thinking that he was going to us in our sleep. So after November 17th, every other story that I have to share is too graphic. So I'm gonna have to wait until part 2 comes out, which will be this week on YouTube. But throughout the last 4 months of our relationship, I don't even know what happened to me. It's kind of crazy watching old videos of myself, where I can't even recognize myself. You can just see it in my eyes. I can't express the feeling of being scared of the person that says they love you, and the person that says they love you then trying to you that night, the person who's supposed to keep you safe, putting you in the most danger, and stuff that you only see in movies and TVs, like, happening in your life. And I remember before this, I told myself I would never, ever even let a man call me a bitch. And then I spent 9 months getting assaulted. I broke up with him about 2 months ago, and I can say that I have never felt better. And a lot of people are wondering one of the things that made me break up with him. So I'm just going to share this really quick. There's a long story that I'm going to have to share, but it doesn't have to do, well, it does have to do with the abuse. But I'm just going to save that story for another day. But we had taken a break, or I had finally cut things off, kind of, when we had went to Hawaii the very most recent time, which was in December or January. He had gotten physical with me in front of my friends in Hawaii, and I told myself that it just has to end. But we decided that we were just going to do a 2-month break. He was going to try to fix himself, and I was just going to do me, and in 2 months we would see where we're at. But we were still technically dating. And so while we're still technically dating, but not together, not like together 24/7, I go to Tampa for Gasparilla, and this one person comes up to me and immediately just starts crying to me about the situation that she was in. And she had videos that were the same as mine, stories that were the same as mine, and she told me that it had been going on for years. And that's what I realized, he would never change. And that this would go on until he killed me. And so that night, I texted him and I broke up with him. And since being broken up with him, there's a lot of trauma that I still haven't dealt with. PTSD, stuff like that. But I want to, I'm going to do another one of these once part 2 comes out. Like, for instance, one of the stories he had told me to myself. It's just so much. But I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm like so like crashed out. Talking about this really just puts me in like a dissociated mindset. But please watch He Doesn't Love You on YouTube. I promise it'll save your life. And I'm doing this because if I saw these videos 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 9 months ago, it would have saved my life. It would have saved my life. I'm doing this for all of us, and unfortunately, this is just the beginning of my story. I'm nowhere near the end, but I will not stop until my entire story is told.